Howdy, folks. You know what? We're going to leave the formalities and the greetings for a little bit later because we're going to get right into it. This episode is a hard one. Not for me, for you. Look, let me say this without sugarcoating it. Your brand sucks. And I'm going to tell you why. Not because you're untalented, not because your product is trash, but because your brand is confusing, forgettable, inconsistent, and built on vibes instead of strategy. Today, I'm breaking down exactly why most brands fail and what separates brands that people scroll past from brands people obsess over. If you're brave enough to hear the truth and you're still sticking around, then this episode is for you.
Their instructor is speaking.
Howdy, y'all. Welcome back. My name is Marqus Aycart. I am your friendly neighborhood branding guy with over 20 years of experience as a creative director and brand developer. You are watching and listening to Made You Look, the podcast that's about brand identity, strategies, the art of storytelling, and creating those first impressions that become lasting impressions. Now, if I've triggered you, that's a good thing, right? Confrontation is a good thing. Say it with me. Confrontation is a good thing. We have to confront the things that matter to us. We have to confront the things that we want to change. And that's what this episode is all about. I'm not going to come here on this show and say, hey, yo, your brand is fantastic. Your brand is great, and smile in your face. And as soon as you turn around, tell you something totally different or tell the people around you something totally different. This is a podcast that's all about being raw and real when it comes to your brand. Look, I'm here to help. If you stop the doom scrolling, if you made it past the first intro, then it's because you care, you have passion. And that's some of the most important things that I can't teach. I can't teach you drive. I can't teach you passion, and I can't teach you determination. These are the things you need to be a brand builder, a successful business owner, an entrepreneur, or the ultimate professional in your category. Now, we're going to get into it. This is going to be, a 20 to 30 minute episode where we go into bullet points talking about why most brands fail. Look, I've been doing this for quite some time. 2 decades, right? 20 years. And I've seen it all from startups to established businesses that need to pivot. And they all have the same pattern. They do not trust the process. They don't listen, or they think that they've turned their brand into something self-serving versus something that is delivering a product, a service, a promise, or a guarantee to their target audience. And that's what we're going to get into. So let's start off with bullet point number 1. You don't have a brand. You just have a okay logo and a name that kind of resonates. We don't want kind of, and we don't want okay. We want excellent, okay? Especially if this is your first time around, you don't want to hit those competitive waters with a little ripple. You want to create a splash. Remember this, look, brand equals perception. Brand equals a story. A brand should be consistent, and a brand should elicit, or rather emote emotion, right? You can't emote without emotion. Now, let's go into it. We're going to go down the line here. This is one that really sticks at my craw. You're trying to appeal to everyone. This is one of those situations where you're throwing so much, at the wall and trying to see what sticks. Folks, it doesn't work that way. You have to figure out what that path is. What is the straightest path from A to Z? Look, this is life. And life is all about lifing. But the straighter you go, the better. You have to be that arrow. The arrow doesn't care what the weather is. The arrow doesn't care how old, the quiver it's in, all of these variables. The arrow has one job: to hit its target. Be that arrow. Look, who are you trying to appeal to? When you try to appeal to everyone, if you speak to everyone, you resonate with no one. Okay? Be that arrow, hit its mark. Now, here's another one that, speaking of patterns, like we said earlier, and this really, I don't understand why people do this quite often, and it's your messaging. Your brand is a culmination. It's a compounded effort of several nuances, variables, elements, factors that create the ultimate brand, right? It's your identity. It's how you market yourself. But guess what? You can't market something that has no brand identity. You can't advertise if you don't have the product. You can't have the product if people don't know what the brand is. It's kind of that, chicken versus the egg. In this case, you have to start with the egg. It's not what came first, it's what must come first. And in this case, the egg in our situation is the brand. The brand sets the tone. The brand sets the visuals. The brand sets the ability to market and advertise, and on and on and on and on. But within that whole realm, you have to have a clear message. Your message right now, why your brand sucks, it's unclear. If people can't explain what you do in 5 seconds, 5 to 30 seconds, you're already lost. I'm part of a professional organization called LETIP, L-E-T-I-P. That's L-E-T-I-P-I-N-T-L on Instagram. That's letip.com. It's an organization that's been around since 1978, and their number one goal is to help people network, create very strong vetted leads, and refer. Their slogan is network, refer, and grow. I had the pleasure of rebranding them. They were going through the same pattern, the same situations that many of my clients do, or many of the businesses that are out there today go through. Their message was unclear. They were stuck, in their case, into a 1978 message, and they needed to figure out how to get current, how to get modern, what's going on in 2025 and now 2026 that wasn't happening in 1978. Your message has to be clear. And I bring up LETIP because one of the things that they advocate for, and they advocate for many things and encourage and put you on that pedestal and help you improve your business acumen, your business delivery, and your business growth. They teach you how to deliver what you do, why you do it, and why you do it so well in 30 seconds or less. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a networking event, someone's speaking to me, it's like 3 minutes have passed, and I say, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but who are you? What do you do? Like, why should I continue this conversation? Why are you here? Like, you got to give it to me fast. You got to give it to me sweet. And you have to help me understand so that later on, after those 30 seconds, I give you those magic words. I want to know more. And when I want to know more, guess what? I'm now invested in your brand. I want to go visit your website. I want to take that business card and not throw it in the garbage, but actually put it in my book or put it on my refrigerator. I want to check out your social media. I want to follow you. I want to engage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Your message has to be clear. And if you can't say it in 5 to 30 seconds, Here's another one. So, with branding, we're talking about the visual aspect of it, the messaging aspect of it. But before all of that, you have to have a strategy. The biggest thing we do for our clients at Forward Your Brands, at forwardyourbrands.com, we onboard them, we intake them, and we go through an immense process where we're researching, where we're getting into all the nitty-gritties that have to do with their world, their brand, who their competitors are, and who their indirect competitors are. So you can't build the visuals before the strategy. Pretty without purpose equals expensive decoration. I can't tell you how many times I want this, I want that. And the number one question I ask is, but why? Oh, because such and such told me to. Or, hey, this looks cool. Look, everybody loves cool. I love cool. But cool's a fad, Cool sometimes crashes and burns. They say, what? No, the saying is, this is from Highlander, one of my favorite movies with Christopher Lambert. The bad guy says it's better to crash and burn than to fade away.
I have something to say. It's better to burn out than to fade away.
Yes and no, or actually no. What I'm trying to say is this. Cool is a trend. Cool is here today, gone tomorrow. What's cool to you may not be cool to me. Cool is relevant. What you want to create is not cool. You want to create something that has mainstay, something that's relatable, something that, once again, I said earlier, that causes an emotion, something that tells me I can trust in you, I have value in you, and once I have value in you, I want to invest in you. So cool, the visuals will come, right? It's all part of your toolkit, but the strategy must start first. And, this one right here, this is one of the things we teach the most at Forward Your Brands. We call it the triple C rule. A lot of times our clients are inconsistent. Look at me right here. I know I'm wearing some funky glasses, but today's the day I have to wear these glasses. They're not my sponsor, Zenni.com. Thank you, Zenni, ZNNI.com. I'm going to manifest the sponsorship through Zenni. Hey, let's talk. But look at me here. Look. You're inconsistent. You know it. You're inconsistent across all platforms. Different tone, different look, different energy. Guess what that all equals? Broken trust. Now, let me get back to what I was saying. At Forager, we teach something that's called the triple C rule. It's consistency, it's cohesiveness, and it's composition. Consistency is number one because consistency is everything. I'm not telling you that, you have to be consistent on your social media. You do, but consistency is so much more than that. And we're going to get into it, but remember that consistency is key. I tell this to many leaders or many owners of their businesses, the CEOs, the presidents, the founders. You are copying trends. Stop copying trends. Ideally, you want to be the trend setter, not the trend follower. You're copying trends instead of building identity. Trendy brands, they age fast. Iconic brands, they last forever. Okay? Remember that. Trends, you following trends, it's gone today. It's here today, gone tomorrow. Stop following trends. Be the trendsetter, or more ideally, build your identity, build that trust. Now, here's the next great one. We're going to go through these like bullet points, like I said, because my goal here is for you to listen, to hear what it's all about, and understand what the solutions are, why this is not working for you, why your brand is sucking. You're saying to yourself, I've done the work. Why am I here? Why aren't people investing in this brand? Why aren't people buying my product? Why aren't people hiring me for that service? So this is the next big one, and pay attention to this. You don't know or understand your audience. I tell this to clients all the time. Who's your target audience? What are your customer profiles? What is your demographic? Oh, yeah, I think I know who it is. It's 18 to 40. 18 to 40 what? Like, what are you looking for? What are their habits? What are they doing? Once again, set up customer profiles. Understand who your target audience is. Understand what the demographic is. All of those sound the same, but they're all uniquely different, but they lead to the same results, the understanding of your audience. All right, great. You're still here. So, look, this Made You Look podcast, we're talking about brand identity and strategies, but a big part of it too is the art of storytelling. Since the beginning of time, we've had these amazing individuals that we call raconteurs. Raconteurs are amazing storytellers. Why is a story so important? Why do your business currently, right now, you probably lack a real story? We're talking about that 30-second pitch, that 5-second pitch. If you don't have your story, you don't understand your story, you don't believe your story, how are others going to engage and believe in your brand if it lacks that story? If there's no origin, there's no mission or a meaning, there's no loyalty. How can you expect that? Your brand has no emotional hook. People don't buy logic. They buy feeling. They buy identity. They buy the sense of belonging. Remember that. They buy the sense of belonging. What are you doing within your brand, within your business that creates that emotional hook? Folks, it's 2026. I got to ask you this. Why are you afraid to stand out? I hate to say what the kids were saying not too long ago, YOLO, you only live once. But if it was ever applicable, this is the time. You only live once. Granted, yes, this business didn't work out and I could start a new business. And if that business didn't work out and you're that stubborn, I could start another business. But the goal is this. You don't have to do all that. And if you do keep starting businesses, you're starting them with success. Safe brands are invisible brands. Keep in mind everything we've discussed so far. These are the things that are holding you back. It's 2026 now. Stop being afraid to stand out. Take those chances. Take those calculated risks. Get out there and make your brand successful. So we're talking about all these things that have, why your brand fails, but let's get into it too. I mean, in terms of the aspect of why the brand is the construct, right? The brand is something you've built. The brand is something you've invested in. And ideally, you took very calculated risks to stand out. You invested in the right people. You've delegated into the right professionals, into building the right team. And let's just even say you're a solopreneur. You've taken the most precious asset you have, which is time, which is so precious. Money comes and goes. But time is fickle. Once it's gone forever. So here you are, this leader. But a lot of these times, a lot of times these brands fail because you lack the leadership skills. And now we're going to get into that portion. And, you're saying this guy, I'm either telling something that you needed to hear, or I've pissed you off, beyond belief. And either way, it works for me because my goal is to, let you know what you're doing wrong and how we can fix it. That's my job. I'm a problem solver, and we have to confront those problems and efforts for me to custom tailor a great solution for you to provide, solutions and embed into you a mindset that is solutions focused and results driven. So with that said, here's another thing that I see leaders and owners do quite often. You're selling me features instead of transformation. Listen to that one more time. You're selling me features instead of transformation. What do I mean by that? People buy outcomes, not specs. All right. They don't want specifications. All of that is fine and dandy when you present it how it should work, but people want to buy the outcome. People want to invest in the results. Stop selling people the features and all these things that, are supposed to make you succeed. Show me why it will succeed and what it will mean to me. Now, here's another great one. You're not investing in your branding. Let's face it, you're not investing enough in your branding, but yet you expect premium results. You can't cheap your way into credibility. Branding is an ongoing effort. The first stage is building a very solid brand foundation, and the next stages are looking into those insights, those analytics, the results of you hitting the pavement and seeing how that brand has performed and investing in careful branding and marketing efforts to help you succeed, because that brand, think of it, I hate this analogy, but think of it as a child, right? You have a child, your job's not done after they take their first steps or they learn how to speak. It just presents a new set of challenges, a new set of goals, and that's your brand. For every new milestone, for every new stage you reach, guess what? You now have to invest into that next level. It is what it is, but guess what? If you're reaching those next levels, it's because you're succeeding and you have to invest in your success. Now, here's another aspect to why your brand is not working. It's because your brand doesn't make people feel seen. The strongest brands make the audience the hero. Quite often, I meet with owners or professionals or serial entrepreneurs that, talk about, well, this is what I want, or this is what I know will make this a success. And there's a lot of I, when ultimately your goal as a business owner is to cater to your audience, cater to your target audience, understand the demographic that you're trying to appeal to, and be able to resonate and connect on a deep level with that target audience that you have, so that they invest in you, where the investment in you becomes a mainstay and it becomes something that's, no longer questioned and doubted. It becomes an easy buy-in. Now, this is one of my favorites. You're building short-term hype instead of long-term equity. Let's say that one more time. You're building short-term hype instead of long-term equity. Look, clout fades. We talked about trends. Stop following trends. Don't make yourself into a clown and dance when someone starts to play the accordion. Your job is not to perform. Your job is to provide results. Your job is to provide a promise and a guarantee that allows your client base to trust in you and to invest in you. You know, clout fades, brand equity compounds. Remember that. Here's one of my personal favorites, because we live in a world that's so full of fluff, right? There's such a facade, especially in social media. You're only seeing the fun stuff, the cool stuff. And you know what's become pretty popular is the BTS, the behind the scenes. People are in an era right now where they actually want to know how the sausage is made. Yes, weird analogy, but a popular analogy. People want to know how the sausage is made. Pause. But you know, you catch my drift here. So look, you want to be in a world where you stand for something. You know, once again, go back. What is your origin? What is your mission? What is your purpose? If you don't stand for anything, you know, no one will stand with you. All right. Let's say that one more time. If you don't stand for anything, if you don't have any principles, if you don't have a trajectory, you know, in regards to that journey, that the ultimate goal is a destination, if you don't have any of those things, then who do you expect to be by your side? Who do you expect to be driving side by side with you, parallel on that road to success? If you don't stand for anything, no one's going to stand with you. Now I'm going to end this segment here with these important, you know, closeout notes. These are the final bullet points as to why your brand sucks. It's failing. It's not doing everything you want it to do. You're putting in all this hard work and time, which is so precious, but you're not seeing the results. And, you know, if you, by all means, go back to earlier the episodes, write these down, and stick around towards the end. We always put bullet points at the end of these episodes so you can see some of the highlighted keywords here or highlighted bullet points. But I'm going to end it with this. Your brand doesn't look like your ambition. Now think about that. Your brand doesn't look like your ambition. When you build something that's just built for the sake of, you know, monetizing and creating a revenue stream, people see that instantly. People, they thrive off other people's passion. Passion is infectious. If your brand doesn't seem like you're ambitious about it, you know, if you want to play big, you must look big. That ambition, that passion, that drive, that can't be taught. It's something innate. Once you invest in that and that ambition, man, big things happen. Last but not least, you, my friend, yes, you and I, let's lock in here.
You, my friend, yes, you and I, let's lock in here.
You're treating your brand like a decoration and not the powerful weapon that it is. Branding is leverage. Branding is positioning. Branding is power. When you invest in something that just looks like a beautiful facade and there's nothing behind it, guess what? As soon as that client, that target audience that you were trying to pitch decides to, you know, take a gander and look around, go behind the back, and they see that it's just one big facade that looks like, you know, those stage decorations in a play or in a film, the illusion is broken. The promise is done and the guarantee is over. You have to invest in branding so you get the proper positioning, the proper leverage, and make sure that that branding equates to power and not just simple decoration. If this episode hurt your feelings, then good. That means you care. That means I triggered something in you that finally created that catalyst for you to make a change. Fixing your brand starts by being honest about what's broken. We have to confront those things, because if we keep dancing around it, we're never going to get to the results that you need to take it to the next level. And if you're ready to stop playing small and start building a brand that actually commands attention, then contact me today. My information is in the description. My information is going to be right here below you're going to hear the ding. You're going to see all my information. You can reach out to me on Instagram, DM me there, or it could be as simple as commenting down below. But if you want to reach out to me one-on-one on Instagram, follow me at Made by Aycart. That's MADEBY AYCART. That's made by AYCART. Or reach out to myself and my team at Forward Your Brands on Instagram at Forward Your Brands, or simply visit them at forwardyourbrands.com. Go to the contact form, fill out that form, and one of either myself or one of our representatives will reach out to you. And, this is the time. It's 2026. Stop putting off what you can do today for tomorrow. This is your time. The time is now. I'm ready. Are you? Peace.
This is a test.